recording.
So am I. I am recording as well. I am the recording. So last time on Dragon Ball Z, Nick and Rampage went on a mini adventure to acquire wood so that he could make a stronger, more powerful short bow. Correct?
Yee.
Excellent. So now it's time to get the fruit of your labors.
Okay, so
Knowing that you decided that the best course of action was to wait till you had the new bow, you decided to rest at the end. And now, it's that day. Your new shiny toy is ready.
Hang on. Okay, so I'm here, and I know it's there, so I'm sprinting. I sprint over there.
You go through the
the
house. You leave a little rampage.
Yeah, I go 10 million miles an hour. And I'm there in a millisecond.
The blacksmith sees you and says, "Ah, young Rampage, I have your new short bow ready. Had a little extra help with it too. I think you'll find it better, much better."
Okay. What was this extra help?
Someone doing a drumming class?
Someone's drumming.
I'm typing.
You're drumming.
Wow.
See how fast he is?
What?
That is definitely my normal. That was my normal size, DK. I am definitely. All right, now we gotta match all the stats up.
I already did it.
No, you didn't. My goodness. Okay, it's gonna be annoying. Alright, let's go here.
I have become very apt at typing very, very quickly due to Discord RPs.
16.
That's typing on the iPad?
Yeah. Actually, Mr. B, I got rid of my really terrible Kindle, and now I have an iPad I use for Skype.
Very nice.
Which makes this much easier.
Does it allow you to do the Roll20?
I found Roll20 didn't work while I was doing Skype on this iPad, so I'm using my second school iPad for Roll20.
It's interesting that it works at all. It's not supposed to unless you pay.
Honestly, I believe it's because the iPads essentially the iPads can use both the mobile and desktop version of websites.
I found out my cell phone can pretend to be the desktop version as well.
Gotcha.
Just doesn't work very well.
Yeah. So.
But I think that's more of a size issue than anything else. Alright. I'm gonna delete the old Rampage.
No!
By the way, you may notice that you've now got some really awesome blue stuff, and you got 2 arrows. So now, whenever you attack with a bow, you may fire. Actually, now you must fire twice. If you hit both of them, you get to do double damage.
Drink.
Okay, go for it.
I get to combine both of the arrow damage.
But
and then
if you miss either of them,
I calculate all of the damage and I fire a yellow beam at the enemy.
But
if
either of those arrows miss, both arrows miss.
And I just fired my yellow beam to the sky. Yeah.
So, anyway, with that said, I've also configured your bow to have 2 arrows, not dodged.
And blue things.
Yes. Also, I changed the color of the wood because you got some special wood. I also changed the string of the bow, but that may be harder for you to notice.
Oh, I can see that.
I have returned.
I actually, it may be very difficult to tell, but I double threaded the rope, the string.
I can see that.
Anyway, it's much more powerful, more thick, and of course, strong enough to fire those arrows.
So, was Mr. B here when we discovered the location of Pax the Mads camp?
No,
think
but I
so.
told him.
Okay. Yeah, me and Rampage decided we were just gonna make that decision.
And also, I can't believe you actually burnt their cart
Yes.
in front of them. You
Yes,
just
I
axed it.
actually know how to build a proper fire. I don't just expect wood to burn, so.
I remember my friend Shawnee discovered that sometimes wood isn't as flammable as one would think. Anyway, guys, what do you want to do now?
Did
Go on
Rampage
an
do this bow?
adventure!
He got his new bow.
Okay, I say we just head out to Pax the Mads camp.
Okay.
If this is gonna be another one of those, we're just going invisible, Nick, and we
No,
just explore the
no, I think
trees.
we actually have to sneak in under the guise of being slaves. With this one. As
This
I
is gonna
recall.
be one of those.
As I recall from the map preview, we have to pretend to be slaves on this one. So, yes, Mr. B, this time we will actually have to walk in like slaves.
If I'm
I prefer the sneaky bit.
yeah, if I can go invis, I'm going invis.
Yeah, no, we've seen the map already, Rampage, remember? There
forgot
isn't
it.
anywhere to hide.
I forgot the map.
The trees on the sides are physically the kind that are
What
too
am-
thick to enter.
What about the cloak of invisibility?
Well, you have to
Oh.
find the Elder Scrolls first. And that would
Actually-
require a visit to Tamriel, and no one knows how to go there.
Well, actually, Chris, technically we can go invisible. We're just not high enough level for that yet.
I want to become invisible.
Yes, Rampage, we will,
invisible.
one day.
One day? How long is that one day?
It'll be many days away.
One
But
day.
you said
over
one
the
day.
rainbow. Okay, I upgraded your weapon, by the
One
way.
day.
It shall be in one day.
I upgraded the description of your weapon and its name.
So do I just red steel? Is it that one again?
Yeah.
Still?
I upgraded
Okay.
both their names, but the thing is, all you have to remember is that you get to attack twice. Or you have to attack twice. And
So I do that, and then I do that.
Yeah.
I did 3 times.
okay, well, yeah, you would only do it twice, not 3 times.
Well, I didn't even mean to do it 3 times.
But essentially, if either of them miss, then you don't do damage.
E.
But if both hit, then you get to both roll damage. Alright? So it's a bit of a gamble, if you will, but it does allow for some extra damage.
If
Mr. B, are you ready for the manuscript to continue becoming larger?
Yee.
Much longer
I
than
expect it will
mine.
become faster. I expect it will become larger even faster.
Question mark?
Are you still surprised at the speed with which I filled that out last time?
Yeah, it was. I really thought that was Chris putting it in, like copying and pasting it in.
Hang on.
He would never
Sure.
do that.
Mr. B doesn't know me well enough.
See, I physically know Chris well enough to know that if we hadn't written that information down, it didn't exist.
Hang on. Will we become that big?
No,
No?
because you didn't eat the mushroom.
Hang
Because
on.
Mario doesn't share his mushrooms.
What kind of mushrooms, though?
The super mushrooms.
Oh.
Whoa,
Not many mushes.
whoa. If I could
I mean,
have
he
made
could
him.
be really sneaky if he took a mini mush.
I don't even know what's happening.
I don't
anymore.
recognize those power ups.
You don't remember the mini mushroom?
Was it part of the original Mario?
Well, everybody, we're off to meet the Mad. The wonderful Mad of Mordor.
Alright. Is that where y'all want to go?
Yee.
That is what me and Rampage decided.
Let's go.
Is there anyone y'all want to bring with y'all?
Yeah.
Well, let's see. We're
everyone.
bringing Arceus. We've got Burgle. Actually, no, we're bringing Burgle.
Arceus wants to be a slave? Or is he just going to hang out?
He might just hang out, but I remember we were just bringing him and Burgle with us. Or no, Arceus was, I think, going off to find us more information, wasn't he, Chris?
He was?
Yeah. On the girl.
Oh.
Because I think that was a place he could actually get into.
I'll let you know if the little girl is not in the village anymore.
Okay.
Okay.
You're informing me the marked one has taken her.
Yes,
For
but it has
questioning.
not caused her any harm.
Just brought her for questioning.
With that said...
Okay, well, I guess just all of us will go to the PAX the Mads camp then.
Alright. I might need to update the map, but let's go there.
Ooh.
I assume you have no problems with that, Mr. B?
Nope.
Ooh.
That's the wrong one. You said
that's
Vlad.
not-
You said Vlad!
No, I didn't. I said PAX the Mad.
I know, he sounds like Vlad.
Okay, there is clearly trees surrounding the entire village.
Those are unpassable trees.
Yeah,
I
we-
will pass through those trees.
No, we determined those were unpassable trees already. You can't do
No,
that.
no, those are passable trees.
No, they really
You
aren't.
should climb on top of them and just
They-
chill
they-
on top of them.
They really aren't passable trees, right?
Yes, they are.
No, they aren't.
Because one of them has an axe, so I can cut my way through
Okay.
them. Stay hidden like that.
By the time you would manage that, the orcs would have noticed you.
I don't think so.
They have their own little red towers with eyes and stuff.
Meh. They won't notice me.
Well, I already having pretty much a good idea of what we have to do, have given my stuff to the orcs, to these two orcs, so that they can carry it.
But what if I don't want to give out my new bow?
Then you can sit outside.
I don't want to do either. How about we just pull on a full-fledged attack?
Rampage?
Do you know if this guy's supposed to be a
Do.
Okay.
friend
Okay.
or not?
Y'all have no
Well-
idea. All you know is his name is Vlax the Mad, and he's not mad in the way that many think he is.
Mr. P, the
He's
thing to
mad
remember
in
is
the
none
game.
of them are supposed to be friends or enemies.
Yeah.
They're just orcs. It's up to us
How
to
about
determine
this?
whether they will become friends or enemies.
DK, I have a
Mark one.
question.
Hmm.
Can I split the arrows? Like one goes in one direction
No.
and the other goes
They have
in
to go to the same target.
Also, Rampage, attacking these guys would most definitely end in our deaths.
Why?
They have 18, let's see. They have 18 armor class, I think.
Okay, so let's not attack them.
Yep, they have 18 armor class. And they have 4d8 plus 8 hit points. His
How about we
they're-
set off
they're-
a giant? How about we set off a nuke and just in the middle of it, we ignite it and
their
we run for our
scimitars
life.
will do 2d4 plus 3 damage, and have a +5 chance to hit.
But still, I think a nuke would be able to kill him. Just like
Rampage,
we
Rampage.
put a bomber
That-
and we put a
that
nuke
means
right here.
that means at most they could do only 11 health damage. How much health do you have?
Like 34.
Not enough.
Yeah, you could survive like 2 or 3 hits from an orc.
I think that would be enough to set off a nuke.
Yeah, unfortunately, nukes also cause other problems afterwards.
Yeah.
Like that entire place is like not safe for human beings for a long time.
The orcs would be fine though.
You think? I think they would all
Yeah,
die from the
honestly, I
explosion.
think the orcs would be fine.
I think they would die from the explosion. How about we set off 10?
No, the other problem is
A million.
is that nukes don't exist
Yes, they do.
in Lord of the Rings.
Yes, they do.
Okay, so shall we, Mr. B? How do you feel like you want to take this?
So it's expected that we're going in as slaves. Who's bringing us in as a slave?
The two Misty Mountain spearmen, they are visiting the
essentially
camp,
gifts?
and no, they're essentially
They
they're
essentially work for the Marked One, and they're visiting the camp.
Yeah.
While escorting.
and so they would add you
supposed
to the
slaves.
area while they work on stuff.
I like their hats.
So we would be pretending to be slaves of the Marked One.
Yeah, so I get that, but why would they be handing us over to?
They're not. They're coming to
They're
visit the
not.
camp to refresh.
Yeah,
Because
they're
essentially, the
definitely-
Marked One works for the same group as these others. Like these are
Yeah, so-
captains. The Marked One is not considered a captain yet.
So essentially, these orcs are just they're stopping in to refresh, and we're part of the group with them. So we're entering the camp as well with them because they can't just leave us outside unguarded. We'd run away.
Hopefully,
Most slaves would run away if they were left unguarded.
I
So-
guess.
So the thing is that we're entering under the guise of entering with them.
Okay.
So, and they're going to have all of our stuff with them. So
they're gonna
Should the
hide y'all
worst
stuff
happen.
in their packs, and this means if suddenly you needed them, they would hand them over to you.
Okay.
My question is, how do we get out of this?
Well, when they
we
leave,
walk
they take
straight
you
out.
with them.
yeah, no, it's,
What if
It's
they
very
never
simple.
leave?
They work for the essentially they're here to help you with your guys.
yeah, no.
They're in on it.
They leave when we decide to leave.
Okay.
Yeah, you would just kind of go, hey.
Yeah, so
So when
So-
we feel like they're going to do a full-fledged tag, we just, hey, let's go.
All right. So I guess we need to slave up then.
yeah, just get our rags on, hand our stuff over to the orcs. We've got ourselves a nice fortified position too.
So I just,
Actually, Chris, I want to ask, how fortified are these ruins?
They go from say chest high to some places being as tall as you.
Mhm.
Don't ask how long I spent trying to size that up perfectly to fit everybody.
Ooh, me, 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 me.
Cool. So Who's that?
Oh, the Hobbit. I made him too
Okay.
big.
All right. Well, I tell the dog to
Did-
sit and stay.
Okay.
And
Of course, Arceus and Birgul are going to stay in the fortifications, and if they hear any fighting, they'll jump in.
Okay.
Okay. I'm assuming we're all just sort of approaching the spiked barricade now.
Yep.
Is that actually like a spiked wall, or is that just like a strip of spikes across the ground?
There's sets of spikes. They apparently can descend, and not all of them are ascended.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I obviously, when everybody else goes, including the orcs, I approach the camp. So I'm ready when everybody else is. Shall we approach the camp?
Sorry. I can't help it. Alright, let's continue.
So, are we all ready to approach the camp now that that's done?
Yep.
Okay. Let us approach the camp with our orcish guards.
Wait.
One of the guards approaches one of your escort, notices the top hat, notices the very specific decoration,
Mhm.
and knows that that they're from the same group, and definitely one of the marked one's troops. They spread some sort of greetings that you're not quite sure what they say. A little awkward for a moment, and then the guard says to that y'all are welcome to join the fire and enjoy some food, but to keep conversations away from Vlad, because he's working on a new masterpiece. With that, the guard returns back to his position.
He's an orc who likes to paint.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So I stopped like right there, and I got a spike. Where's Billy? Where's this guy?
One of your escorts stays near the bottom, near y'all, as if keeping eye on y'all. The other one seems to completely ignore your group and goes to get himself some food from the kitchen.
I guess I just completely walked off without the rest of the group.
Yeah, I would assume that they're going to keep us all together, since we're supposed to be captured slaves.
I mean, did any orc make any attempt to stop me from walking away?
No, but it seems you've uncovered the very fact that they're all watching you and that there are people with bows watching you, but they don't have them slung. There's only one way out, and it's out the way you came.
Yeah, it's like there's no real reason to put a whole lot of effort into watching me.
They essentially, the exit is what really they're watching, and they don't really care so much where you're walking in the camp, because the camp is really small.
I'm currently staring at these paintings.
You notice that there seems to be some sort of raw emotion in the paintings.
Is it possible that I could determine something more from the paintings?
Yes, if you roll your artistic attenuation trait.
I don't think that's a thing.
I know it's not a thing. I made it up.
I could try traditions.
Wisdom. I am wise. Very wise.
I love what Brad Pitt said. You are my penguin.
Let's see. I could try, say, traditions or history or perception. What would you prefer, Chris?
Okay, the problem with tradition is you don't have a tradition. You don't have, like, if this was, say, a human tradition, you might be able to pull that off. You could try to compare the works with human traditions, but it's going to be at a much lower. It's going to be at a higher penalty because human traditions
Oh, you know what?
Orcish traditions.
I could try insight.
Insight might make more sense, actually.
Let's see if I manage to succeed in insight roll.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Okay, so I.
Well, if you're gonna roll a 20 on me, jeez.
You know, just over here getting that all the next 20.
I assumed I would.
You
fail.
know that when you hit combat, you're never gonna see a 20 again, right?
Yep.
You just wasted your 20.
You study the paintings. The orcs don't seem to mind you staring at them. You hear a snicker from one of them. At least this will keep them busy.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I missed it.
At least this will keep them busy.
Okay.
You definitely see some of the strokes seem to be made out of, like, strength. As if strength was being tried to applied directly to the painting. But the deeper you look into it, you also see kind of a softness. But a strength, as if it is expressing strength through softness.
What?
And very strange concept. But then you realize something, that maybe you're evaluating this with your human values and not seeing it maybe from a more orcish perspective. Perhaps you could take the information you collect from this and speak to an orc and maybe get some better reconciliation with your insight.
Mm-hmm.
But you do take a mental note of what you see.
Mm-hmm. So you're suggesting I speak to this orc next to me?
No, I'm suggesting maybe you should speak to an orc that's more friendly. To uncover maybe more about this.
I'm really debating how stupid an idea it would be to ask Pax the Mad about his paintings.
You would probably.
I'm really debating it.
If you want to die, do it.
Hey, so I go over and stare at the paintings too,
Okay.
and I'm gonna do the same.
I would like to converse with Mr. B on this subject.
I'm gonna do the
I-
insight check as well.
I point out the way the lines flow in a sort of gentle yet strong manner.
From what you could pull, there's a lot of pretty colors on the page. And from what you can also tell, someone used paint.
Can I point out what I'm seeing to Mr. B?
Yeah.
And Mr. B, you also see kind of trails of blood on the... Not blood, on paint. Red paint on the ground. Very much paint. and you see a bucket of red paint behind Vlad.
So he likes red, huh?
Who's Vlad?
Not Vlad, I'm sorry. You got me doing that, Pax the Mad. I need to stop making rhyming names. Gonna be the death of me.
That's your own fault. Mr. B, how stupid an idea do you think it would be to ask Vlad, or ask Pax the Mad, about his own painting?
I don't know if. Well, we've already been warned not to interrupt him.
Yeah.
But I don't know
like-
that it would be a bad idea. I don't know if we should ask him about the painting, more so compliment him on it.
Well,
Everybody likes compliments, right?
I feel like anybody can understand the. Well, maybe not anybody, but I feel like most artists can understand. So, can understand an audience's want to understand their
Well, I
work
think
better.
definitely if you're going to talk to Pax, you need to discuss the bold lines that you noticed and the gentle smattering of red. He seems to like red.
I think the best thing to do here is to come back to our Misty Mountain Orc over here and speak with him on the matter and see if I can learn anything from him.
I do want to know what's in those papers behind that one over there. Hello, papers.
Yeah, I'd kind of like to know that too, but I don't think they'd appreciate us if we went rifling through them.
As you approached one of your orcish guards, he pretends like he's going to hit you, and then just kind of giggles. He takes you to the side and pretends as if he's yelling at you about something, about some sort of Slavish pates. And then you hear him, "What's up?"
I'd like to discuss the painting I've seen. And I inform him about what I've noticed within the painting. And I ask him for an orcish perspective on the idea.
He stares at you.
Okay. Take it you're not into paintings.
He leans over. "I am not the orc you are looking for."
Okay.
And he slightly waves his hand at you.
And then he
Yeah.
pretends to swat you in the face, but doesn't quite. Doesn't actually connect. And then he walks off.
Okay. Well,
Gotta act as if you were a slave. Acting, act.
you know what? I'm going to come over here and I'm going to see if I can listen in on any conversations between orcs.
The orcs notice you and say, "Ah, slave! Come help." And they point to you some lumber and they want you to move it from one pile to another pile.
I begin moving the lumber from one pile to the other pile.
They begin to speak about where they might get a proper red color for Vlad.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Thank you,
he's
that's
having
the
a
color
problems
red.
running into the best red dye, because he said the best red paints that he's managed to acquire are extremely toxic. And this very much is a concern to Vlad, because he doesn't like to create paintings that kill people.
What?
For some reason, it just kind of...
Doesn't seem right.
No, it's if it kills his audience, then no one will appreciate it.
Yeah.
Mr. B, could
Also,
you
it's
write
very
this
dangerous
down
for him to
me?
handle
I'm having
toxic
trouble
paints.
loading the.
Sorry, what was that?
Can you write this down? I'm having a bit of trouble loading Roll20 at the moment. Oh, never mind. There it goes. I got it.
Yay! there was also talks about using grapes to create a dye, which they thought would be non-toxic, but they discovered that it's too watery and didn't provide the opaque touch that the artist seeked.
How good is this artist?
From what standards?
Incredible to so
But from whose standards are you judging it from?
Hey, Chris.
best painter in the world.
Chris, do I by any chance know how to make red paint?
Arceus probably does.
No, but you have a better understanding of spinning than that.
I do have a greater understanding of spinning. You know that's still written down on my character sheet too.
I accept that.
Chris, do you think it's possible that I might know through either my history or traditions that of a way to make red paint?
Roll traditions and let's find out.
Okay.
Roll natural.
What do I get?
You don't know squat.
Okay, I can't see my roll, so
You rolled a 6.
You rolled a 6.
I don't know squat. That's good to know. Holy shit! What's with all the 4s?
Oh, you actually rolled a 4, which is even worse.
No, I just started scrolling down, and I just see this massive list of 4 over and over again.
Oh my.
What? Ah, you're all the way up there.
Because it starts me at the very top of the thing every time.
Ow. You're up there. That's where you are.
I'm not really sure what any of y'all are talking about. I'll just let it go.
Okay, just scroll up a little. You'll see.
Yeah, it's a little obnoxious.
I shall continue listening in for the moment, but
Wait.
probably
There's a bunch of 4s? Weird.
Scroll up and chat.
Chris, scroll up the chat log for a little ways.
I don't see anything.
Just
Keep-
keep scrolling.
Oh.
Keep scrolling
Oh
up.
gosh. Why? Why would someone do this?
Probably Rampage.
I'm gonna use my super. I'm gonna turn off friction on my mouse for a second so I can scroll through it.
Yep, it was Rampage.
Who
Man,
else?
you
You had any doubt?
That's alright. I'm so glad that my mouse has a button that turns off friction, so then I could just like rapidly like scroll down and up. Okay. Alright, furthermore, they're talking about using spiders as a form of paint, but that the local spider populace has been very not happy about it, and it's caused some conflict with some wild humans serving the spiders.
I'm sorry. Did you just say use spiders as paint?
Yes.
Yee.
That's absurd. That's
So is it-
utterly
so is it-
absurd.
So is an orc that paints. But we've suspended absurdity.
No, let's be honest. An orc that paints isn't that absurd.
I don't
Using
know.
spiders as paint.
I
That's
think, an orc,
absurd.
I think an orc who paints and uses paint for red rather than blood for red, I think is a little.
But you know how terrible blood is for painting, though.
I don't know. It turns a lovely dark red. Okay,
But
so
it's
we know that
terrible
we know
for
that
using as paint.
we know that he likes red.
Okay, we have knowledge of the world.
All right, so we're just kind of chilling over here and listening. Are any of these other guards talking?
By the way, Nick.
Yeah.
Don't ask about blue spiders.
You make me want to ask about blue spiders now.
We believe that
DK, what
is
is
one of the natural ways to get a blue dye.
Really?
Yeah. So something you said was absurd isn't actually that absurd. So some of these are actually references to real life.
All right. So I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna listen.
Okay. I need you to go ahead and pass a... Yeah, there you go. You notice that Pax is sitting in front of his artist board, and he's angrily painting. And one of the minions went, Hey, boss! We got some guests! And with that, Pax pushes through the artboard with I said no distractions! And he just throws his minion into the trees. I need a new artboard! And he goes storming looking for one, but he can't seem to find one. You also notice a set of documents. Some of them, there are books, but there are also parchments, there are papers. Some of them contain numbers and arithmetic. There's also a small goblin. I just saw something roll through my screen and I didn't know what the heck that was.
What?
I just saw something scroll through the map and okay. Must just be my imagination.
Okay.
Anyway, you also notice
No idea what you're talking about, but okay.
You see kind of like a white bearded goblin holding some of the parchment, adding it to the stack. You notice your guard is now getting some sort of honeyed bread. Of course, the other guard doesn't seem to be getting any food and seems to remain near the exit, as if maybe he's making himself as available to y'all as y'all need him to be. Is there any other particular thing you're looking for with your listen/perception check?
I was trying to listen to the guards, see if they're talking about anything.
You do hear something about one of the other orc captains, though you're not sure if it's a rumor or not. This one is about Orthu. And there was something about him making some sort of vehicle to travel in the snow. He said something about using 2 spears and some boards.
2 spears and some boards.
All right.
And something about putting your feet into the boards that have apparently been slightly hollowed out. And yeah,
This
kinda
totally
odd.
works.
They think this is kind of weird.
I would probably
No.
agree.
No, that's not weird at all.
But he mentioned
utterly,
also that
completely
Orthu's troops are known for mountain combat.
So
This
if
is
we get
something
him on
we've already-
even land,
Yeah, I just kind of assume that you're writing stuff down.
You also hear that maybe he's trained troops to use these vehicles.
I don't see no
to
vehicle.
surprise people.
Oh,
I said
It's,
Orthu.
it's about a
not-
different captain.
And they said somehow that he's also for himself. He's constructed some sort of large box with boards underneath it that are apparently nailed together. And it said that he can travel very fast down a mountain with it.
Zoom, zoom.
And that he secretly keeps a whip close to him. No one knows where he got the whip from.
Sleigh bells ring. Are you listening? In the land, snow is glistening. All right.
Oh my.
Do all of the orcs look well fed? Well,
These orcs seem very well fed.
So
You
none
also
of them
see one of the orcs with you who's going to the food line. They're grabbing like some sort of honey butter spread and putting it over the bread. You see just how happy this orc is to be eating this food. And you could very much tell that maybe the food that this camp has access to is superior to other orc camps. Even the Marked One's camp.
all right. So, did Nick wander back? Are we all
no,
together?
he's always left.
No.
He's never actually been
Okay.
here.
So I kind of turn around, and I want to talk to Billy the elf, our resident sneak.
What you got in
Hello.
mind? See that
So-
look in your eyes.
Billy the elf. There's a bunch of documents over there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can figure out a way to get your hands on them, can you?
Oh, of course. Of course.
Snap some pictures of them with that handy dandy cell phone camera you got there.
DK.
Uh-huh.
You do know I also control Billy, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, good. That's just
Billy is an NPC, so
I only roleplay him as when people ask him to be sneaky.
Okay. Who else do we have with us? Oh, Dan. Of course, Dan is here too, right?
Chris, I'm going to spend this time appreciating and looking over all of Pax the Mad's paintings.
Billy goes over to the guard that's by the food, and slightly goes over to him, apologizing, and being extremely humble, and also at the same time whispering a few words between other words. The orc near the kitchen, who is eating his honey bread, smiles as if he'd just been given permission to do something he really wanted to do. He grabs Billy and throws Billy into the documents.
And then he takes out his cell phone out of his pocket and just snaps a picture of everything.
Some of the documents aren't there anymore.
But no, if he just snaps a picture of every single
There's no
document.
cell phone. There's no cell phone.
Yes,
Cell
he
phones
does.
don't
There is a
exist.
cell phone. Yes,
They don't
do.
exist.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
Yes,
That's not how that works.
Yes, it is.
He secreted a few of the documents.
Hopefully it's
As-
the good ones.
Oh,
He
they
may
are.
have quickly memorize some of the other documents as he's picking himself up. And then the orc picks him up again and kind of does a small exchange of throwing and Billy tumbling and so forth, just continuously repeating this for a while until finally
Billy,
the orc makes a pretend smack on Billy, and Billy pretends and performs very greatly at being struck down to the ground by a mighty orc blow that never actually touched him.
Yep, because Billy is a great actor, and then he just somehow walks
And
backward.
You see the smile on Billy's face.
Okay, is Pax the Mad no longer painting?
Yes, he stopped painting because he's trying to find another artboard. Now the little goblin, the old goblin that was by the parchment, is now trying to put all the parchments back together.
No.
And he says,
what?
"But
the
documents, the parchments, the books! How will I ever put these back together?
The
Madness!
knowledge!
Madness, I call!" And
I
with
looked
that,
around.
Pax turns and goes,
I...
"Madness! Let me show you madness." And he smiles, and the old goblin looks at him, and he smiles, and then they just start laughing, and they get themselves some sort of beverage from their kitchen area.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I look around. I'm looking for one of those art boards. Are there any art boards?
Is this an artboard by any chance?
No, there is no more artboards.
No more art.
Okay.
That's why he couldn't find it.
Really? That's interesting.
What's an artboard made out of?
Wood.
Wee.
Wood. We always find wood.
With that, the orc, one of your orc protectors, meets up with Pax. Their eyes meet. Pax tells them, "So, had to throw the slave through the documents, huh?" And with that, your orc guard just smiles. "Well, this distraction requires a payment. How about you go grab a couple of your slaves and get me some wood? You'll be making me a new artboard." Of course, of course.
Oh, hey, I was just stacking wood.
And with that, the orc takes an axe, kind of that he found at the trunk of one of the trees, and he goes over to Dan and tells Dan to pick another person to come with.
Don't
Ooh,
pick
I know
me.
someone who hates trees.
Oh, yeah.
He's not with us, though.
Good point. Choose me so I can kill all the trees.
No, I'd like to go with Dan.
Okay, the reason I was
Wow.
giving Dan was because Dan is like one of the stronger members of the character, so that would be the first person he would pick. And then, of course, let him pick someone. Because he doesn't really know y'all's group very well. Alright, so I guess Nick and Dan are going to go with the orc on an adventure.
To a mystical, magical land far, far away.
Going on an adventure, a great adventure.
And with that, the orc has Nick carry the cart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, pull the cart. And he leans over and says, "Don't burn this one."
Only if you ask really nicely.
Don't break this one, or I will summon my army on you.
You don't have an army.
Yes, I do.
I say don't burn this one because it's not ours.
That's kind of a good point.
It's not like I can just burn it willy-nilly. I mean, wood doesn't just burn like that. It takes some prep time.
Shall we go?
Yeah.
and he leads you all off onto a journey. And so from now on, I'll let you, after everyone's made a turn, you get to make a roll to determine if you cut any wood.
Okay.
And you will have advantage because Dan will be, of course, helping you. And now I need to look at a character sheet to see what exactly I might tell you to.
Well, you could have me roll a straight strength check.
Actually, I think
that-
nature would be good.
Yeah, I can do nature. I mean, I don't know that nature would work though, because that's more of an intelligence check.
It would be strength.
Yeah, because you would want strength.
Well,
for
okay, how
cutting
about
down
survival
trees.
then?
You're in a forest, so finding
Okay,
trees is not difficult.
I mean, survival isn't strength based, but I'm also really good at survival, so I'll take that.
Okay, survival. I think survival is usually used in those situations.
That'll give me an extra 3 bonus to survival too, because we're in the wilderness.
Yes. So. Cool. You also have advantage because Dan will be helping you.
Fish!
With that said, Rampage, did you want to eat your fish that you had in your backpack?
No. I just try to avoid trouble.
Okay.
Some big scary orcs around.
I don't want a bunch of bent swords coming on my head.
Oh, their swords are slightly sharper.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
They also have very nice blue ribbons on them.
Yeah. I try to avoid getting those coming, having those coming on my head.
You notice these swords aren't so bent. They're more, they're kind of scimitar shaped.
We did confirm what kind of swords they are already.
I know, but Rampage didn't seem to know.
They're Minecraft swords.
No, they're not. They're actually a bit more curved because they're scimitar shaped. Minecraft sword would be more like a short sword or a long sword.
Okay, so Rampage is being very careful, and it doesn't look like Billy wants to reveal that he took some of the documents.
No, he does not want that known.
No, he
And
doesn't need to.
So
reveal that
he's
yet.
kept those secreted away.
Yeah, we'll review those later.
He chose not to take any of the books.
Those would be more noticeable.
Just yeah.
So I guess, Mr. B, is there a move you want to make at this point?
Yeah, there's not a. I don't see a whole lot to do except maybe.
You can always do more listening.
Yeah, I can always listen. I'm trying to decide if I want to walk up to Vlad or Pax or whatever his name is.
The other thing too is I think the best outcome for communicating with Vlad would be to make the art board and then have me give it to him and speak to him about his art, since my character is the one who understood his art the best.
Yep. No,
Of the two of us that observed it.
Unless there's a way that we knew about making red paint.
I don't. You could always try to determine that. See if you know of a way to make red paint. That would probably be a traditions or history check.
Or you could play Minecraft and get a flower.
So for some
Flower.
reason my dog is woofing.
Uh,
Drawing attention to himself. Alright,
Miss-
so I'm gonna listen some more.
okay.
I'm gonna roll my perception check again.
Do you want to see if you know how to make red paint, though?
What's that?
Do you want to see if you know how to make red paint, though? Because that could be useful.
I don't know that I know about the red paint yet.
I probably would have told you.
You think
Okay.
you would have told me?
Well, if you're gonna listen in, you hear him talk about blue paint.
Blue paint?
hmm He says the only thing that annoys him more about having problems finding the best red paint is finding a good blue paint.
Alright, so I've got several different things potentially. There's no art check. But
It'd
what would I
probably be
roll?
under traditions.
You think? Traditions or nature?
No, it'd be traditions.
Chris, what do you think?
I'm gonna look real quickly at a normal character sheet real quick. Alright, I would think either performance or investigation.
Do investigation a lot
For
better.
determining how to make paint.
Investigation might maybe then. So because I feel like painting is an art form, and that would be under performance.
It is a-
That's how I'm thinking about it. I'm kind of thinking in the abstract.
Yeah, well, I think since
But see, I would personally feel like painting is more of a cultural thing.
Not necessarily.
So I'm gonna roll a nature check just because I would.
Nature
would
would be
assume
probably
my-
okay. Yeah, you
my
could use
character-
nature for trying to figure out how to make dyes, I guess.
Yeah, nothing comes to me. All right, so I'm gonna.
So the idea with an investigation of that could be like a long time check for you, for inquiring about paints.
Yeah, well, I mean, my character knows only the woods, and so he wouldn't know at this point. He can't recall anything that might make blue or red paint as a flower or anything. All right, so I'm gonna do my perception checks again.
I believe it would be my turn, actually, since you already listened.
I thought you were cutting wood.
Yeah, I
He
have
has
to
to
roll,
roll
see
something.
how long
Go ahead, roll a
Go
nature
for it.
check real quick. At advantage.
survival.
Or survival, sorry.
You have to add another 3 to it because we're in the wilderness.
You found a beautiful tree, you cut at it, and then discovered that it isn't a tree. You somehow found
is
a
in fact
cactus.
A leg.
What?
You
I found
found
a
a
what?
cactus.
A
I found a
leg.
cactus. I have to collect the entire cactus. You can make green dye from that.
You found the leg of a tree dragon. And
Chris, I want to cut the entire cactus down and put it in the cart.
Okay.
You can make green dye from that, don't you know?
Good luck with that.
Eat something and then you'll make green dye.
No, I'm doing it really because I want to see how they react to us bringing a cactus back.
LOL.
The orc stares at you and watches you and Dad try to cut this cactus down. I need you to roll any kind of defensive skill you might use to protect yourself.
A skill to defend myself from the cactus.
Yes. You laugh, but I've seen cactus defeat grown men before, so.
I will roll a survival check. A 17.
Okay.
Pretty good.
You manage not to be defeated by the cactus. You still take 2 wounds, though.
Okay.
I don't know in any way that one could interact with a cactus and not be injured in some way.
You stand just far enough at the axe is just close enough to actually be able to cut the cactus.
Yeah, but then you have to pick it up.
I know what I wanted. I would know what I would.
I'll be honest with you, just... in fact, I'm going to give Dan wounds too, but I'll give it to him later. To quote another adult I know, the cactus just jumped up and attacked me.
I bet you didn't see that coming when you threw a cactus at me.
No, I totally expected it from you.
Good. It's good. At least Chris knows me well.
Would you like to continue looking for wood?
Him.
Yes.
Okay. With that said, now, Mr. B, you rolled a perception 18, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now Vlad is talking about,
Vlad?
Pax. Pax is
I've got
talking...
very strong hearing.
Yes, exactly. Pax is talking about combining 2 colors to try to make another color. He found these beautiful yellow flowers that he found he could get some sort of kind of yellowish color out of. But the problem is that it really was only good for making kind of a yellow-green. He was wondering if there was a better processing methodology for getting it to be yellow. He then talks about green paint. He considered using grass, but he finds that was kind of a yellow-green. And it wasn't exactly the most efficient use of time. The old goblin that has a giant, beard, starts talking about numbers and figures, and Pax just sits there and listens and makes observations. Particularly, they're talking about the best way of setting up for the future winter frost. It seems that the goblin is very much his logistical leader, but Pax is not a fool in matters of logistics. It seems together they're quite clever. You have now taken note that Pax has a very good logistical advantage over the other captains when it comes to acquiring supplies and keeping things in order. You also passively observe that all of Pax's troops, all their armor is a little bit shinier than most orcs keep their armor. And their swords a bit more shinier as well.
Wow.
It seems a greater care in maintenance is taken at this camp. You also notice that Pax's cloak has blood red on it, but it isn't blood. It's dyed colors, and it seems quite bright, as if he keeps it well cared and maintained. You're not sure exactly how he does it, but you do take note of this. I think that's enough information from one roll, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Nick, roll me again another survival check.
Survival!
Nope, that is stealth. I don't want to roll that.
Stealth.
I don't think I can stealth a tree. That would be a 25.
You can stealth a tree if you believe.
You know, I noticed that your first survival check was an 8.
Mm-hmm.
I only noticed the second one. Okay. Okay. Oh, maybe that's why there was a cactus. That makes more sense now. You come to a good old tree. This would not be quite what you're looking for, but you look a little further and you find a nice smaller tree. Because you and Dan, it would take you all quite too long to bring down a great tree. You see kind of a small fields of younger trees. You think maybe the great tree spawned the acorns that led to these smaller trees, but you know, maybe that's just how you feel.
Mm-hmm. Clearly, we have to cut a smaller tree down.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead and roll me another survival check.
Okay. This one's a 22.
Yep. You slowly begin. You and Dan just slowly work together to cut these trees down and get them to the log. You notice that the log has gotten a little soggy.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You haven't been playing enough Minecraft.
You say it's become soggy.
Yes.
We may wish to keep. Do we know why it is soggy?
The orc just points at the cactus.
Okay. I see. I didn't realize we had already put it in the cart.
Well, yeah, you put it in the cart and then you drove off further to get more wood.
Can we like keep the wood and the cactus separate?
No.
There's only one solution here. I have to go back and get a second cart.
With that, the orc stares at you for a second. And he grabs his axe. And he goes to some of the wood that y'all cut. And he slowly starts breaking the bark off, right? He starts putting that on the cart. And essentially, he just kind of lays down the bark on the cart to offer some protection to the wood. And he just keeps taking all the bark off of all the limbs, and he just creates like a blanket over. He then takes something from his pack, slightly soft blanket. It's like made out of wool or something, and he lays it over the cactus and the wood and the bark that he placed down. Then stares and he just kind of goes like, ta-da!
Do we have enough wood?
Yeah, he only took the bark off the wood. He didn't, to make an artboard? Yeah. Oh, actually, y'all are gonna probably need some longer logs as well.
Oh, that's fine. We can get some of that too.
But you can get it from these young trees next turn.
Actually, don't the orcs already have some wood too?
Essentially, y'all are collecting wood just to replace the artboard.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what wood they have. This is a task that was given to you.
Okay, that's fine.
Mr. B, is there anything you want to do this turn?
Yeah, I think we're still waiting for them to come back, so just gonna listen some more.
Okay,
Roll again.
go for it.
Whoa.
You hear talk there is a particular food item they're looking for. They're looking for some sort of mysterious bean that when ground up could make some sort of brown sludge. It's said to be quite stimulating.
Do they speak about whether the brown sludge tends to be hot or?
They really didn't mention.
So what you're saying is that works like coffee.
I didn't say that.
You very much implied that.
No. They were just looking for it. Out of curiosity.
You're saying they're looking for coffee?
But the purpose that Pax mentioned is that he thinks that he could turn the mysterious brown sludge, or maybe even the beans, into some sort of kind of brownish paint. He wants to experiment with this. Though he's not really sure anything will come of it. I'm going to have to move my mic real quick. There we go. Then he also mentions trying to bring out some brighter colors. He used up all of his yellow and orange the other day. He's trying to find access to more brighter, vibrant colors. Because too often enough, a lot of the colors he picks are a little less bright and vibrant. Particularly in this area, because where he's from, he knew where to get them. But now that he's here, he's less knowledgeable about this area. But he is taking this as a quest, essentially. On top of that, you hear the starting discussions of why they're here and whatever the Marked One and the Marked One had with his captain. There's concern on what issues they had and what would bring all the clans here. Well, not all the clans, but the group. And curious on what the war chief feels about all this. There's a sensation amongst the group that the war chief would not be pleased about anything that's going on.
Why don't they like this? Why don't they think
I guess the question really rather is, how does Pax feel about it? But I guess we can't really ask him that.
Yeah.
Pax seems.
We could ask him that, but I feel
Pax
like that wouldn't be great.
Does listen to what his men are saying, but he doesn't really mention it. You do kind of hear a whisper. Wasn't the despoiler a traitor? We should all burn him! And you see some of the soldiers kind of making odd glances at each other. And Pax just, like, takes his hand out and kind of lowers it. That's future talk. Let's not point fingers yet. There are questions. We'll have to seek the answers. For if we take anyone's answer except ours, who will be the mad one then? Who? We will. No. We act once we know all the facts.
And what are all the facts?
Well, the fact is he was a traitor, but it's not the entire point. for all of the facts.
Dun, dun, dun.
So it would now be a good time to roll that next survival check.
Yeah, go for it.
Are you sure?
Okay. Let's see if I can get some wood out of this. That would be a 23.
Okay. Oh wow, I am terrible.
You are not.
How are you terrible?
I just discovered I don't have the new Disboiler graphic in my in my villain set. I still have the old one, and like Malakal's the marked one. I don't even have him updated either.
Wow.
I feel terrible. Anyway,
You should feel terrible.
Wow.
You're not even keeping your own graphics up to date.
okay. You've succeeded, and you've now gotten. You've actually cut longer strips in half. That'll be perfect for the poles, but you'll need some way to sand it, and then the orc kind of like. Well, you and Dan are probably trying to figure out how you would sand it to be like poles.
The orcs probably have what we need for that.
The orc guard kind of like takes his hands and kind of goes back and forth like no, and he says, "Cool." So he has Dan pull the cart, and he's kind of staying to the side of y'all, letting you be in front, Dan behind him, and him to y'all's side. And y'all return to the camp. Y'all bring the cart in, and Pax stares at y'all, going, "Ah! Finally! Wood! We shall build us a new one."
A new one.
He snaps his fingers, and some of the orc guards break off and go start unloading the wood. And then one of them sees the cactus.
Cactus!
And they also take note that the cart is soaking wet on one side.
Cactus.
Pax goes over to the cart. He removes the wool blanket. He stares at the cart. Stares at y'all. He looks over to the orc. At what point did I tell you we needed water? The orc just kind of shakes a little bit. You ruined a good cart, bringing that abomination here.
I think this is the time where you should say, we can make green.
And he just continuously
green arrows.
belittles the orc for a little while.
Why?
That's so worth it.
He stares at the cactus. He takes his hand and he just picks up the cactus. And he wields it over his head. And then he grabs it and now is kind of like jokingly swinging it around like a sword. And then he walks forward to the center of his camp and he places it deep down into the ground. And then says to everyone, "Look what this fool has brought me! He's brought me a cactus."
DK.
Which I don't know how or where they found a cactus in the middle of a forest. This requires a special level, a very special level of ignorance to accomplish this. You, sir, get an applause.
God. Why? DK. Cactus sword. Where is that from? What did we play together? I'd had a cactus sword.
Crusader Craft.
Terraria, we had a
Craft.
cactus sword.
Oh yeah, it is Terraria.
No, didn't Crusader Craft as well?
Ugh. That's so
In
worth.
Terraria, cactus swords are really easy to make.
It's so worth bringing him a cactus.
Now he has a cactus in the middle of his camp.
Oh, I'll write that down.
Make it all capital. Cactus!
And now you notice that his hand is bleeding where he held the cactus. And he goes over to his art. He goes over to apparently a piece of parchment and puts his hand directly on it and kind of just smears the blood on the parchment.
Normal. It's good. It's a good way to get
Hey,
rid
Chris, I didn't have to burn the cart. I didn't have to burn the cart.
And then one of the guards say, "What do we do with the cart?" He stares at y'all, stares at the guard.
You see,
He grabs some wood, he puts it in the cart. He then grabs one of the torches, and he throws the torch into the cart.
Did he make sure to take the wood we cut out of it
Yeah,
first?
your guards already took that out.
Okay.
And you notice that the cart spurned into fire super quick. Apparently, whatever fluid the cactus was leaking, was apparently flammable.
Oh.
good job. Why didn't you just leave that?
Hey, I burned
everywhere
another
around the
orc's
cat?
cart.
And with that, you notice that the guard that was with you just starts laughing uncontrollably. And Pax stares at him, and he just keeps laughing. And Pax kind of like turns his head as if he doesn't understand the joke.
Why the cactus?
And you notice the other guard is like, "Oh great, how many more carts have to be burned till y'all are pleased?" Pax just stares and realizes that apparently something has happened with carts in the past. Well, at least we won't have any more pyramid carts! and the laughing continues. Now other orcs are laughing too. They don't quite know why. Pax just kind of shrugs and goes back to taking the wood that y'all collected and trying to make a new artboard out of it.
You know, I think now would be a good time to speak to Pax.
You approach Pax. One of the guards just kind of takes the hilt of his sword and kind of pushes you away from Pax,
Okay.
as if to put distance. Pax kind of stares at you with kind of yellow glowing eyes. And his eyes go back to his art, trying to start to, apparently he has some sort of knife with him and he's shaping the wood.
So I noticed some of your other paintings.
Uh, I was observing some of the sort of gentle straw. I don't know how to describe them. They seem gently the strong lines flowing throughout the paintings.
Pax says nothing and continues shaping the wood.
I don't quite understand them, but I was hoping you could tell me more about your paintings.
He says nothing to you and continues to shape his wood.
Well, I guess this is a useless conversation, but good to know. I shall stand there and wait while he shapes the wood.
He continues to shape his wood.
Okay.
And he looks up, looks at the guard, and takes a nod. And the guard then escorts you away.
Okay. I suppose that works.
You didn't do it.
You now notice that the guards have taken a more defensive position to where he's shaping wood, as if that area is now off limits.
Oh well. But, I think personally I'm kind of done with camp.
You're not the only person.
Does anybody else feel the need to gather more information, or do you think we have enough?
I think we have
not
enough.
enough.
Okay, well, I'm ready to leave.
With that, one of your guards, at the kind of signal that you gave, approaches one of the other orc guards and says that they're going to make their leap. And they thank Pax for his kindness and generosity. And you see kind of Pax take his hand and go, yeah. And goes back to his work. And with that, your guard takes to the side and kind of maneuvers his hand to suggest to move forward.
Okay. Then out we go.
Zoom, zoom.
Yeah, meow.
It's gonna help you there.
Okay, well, I know the first 3 steps to this. The obvious first step here is we should speak to Arceus and the hobbits.
Yep. We need some red and blue paint.
Yeah. We should speak to I ask if Arceus or if Björgl knows if the hobbits, or even himself, know if of ways to make certain colors of paint.
Alright, I'm gonna do the appropriate checks.
Okay. I don't necessarily expect Björgl to know it, but maybe he knows of someone in the Hobbit village who might.
Arceus is going to think on historically how such dyes would be made. Because that is the only skill he has.
Got a 23.
He has a shadow law, so he could
I guess he could use Shadow Lore. Would that be
define how the Dark Lord was going to create red and blue paint.
that actually might make sense.
If the dude,
That's the only other skill he has.
to find red paint, And he finds really good.
You got 23 on the history check, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. That's other than medicine. Like he's just complete trash at anything else.
Well, I assume he's fairly good with all of the herbology type stuff.
Yeah,
so.
as I said, medicine. So he's no medicine, history, and shadow lore.
Mm-hmm. And poisons.
I guess it falls under medicine, maybe.
Special category all by itself.
Arceus should do how to poison someone one-on-one with Arceus.
I wonder if Arceus would have knowledge of the toxic red paint and how to make it less so.
Topset?
Due to his knowledge
okay,
of
so
poison.
you ask him this, he leans over and says, "You don't.
Okay.
The item is poisonous." He mentions that the reason that red paint is so toxic is because
It's Topset.
it is made directly. It's not processed at all, but is made directly from something that is very poisonous.
Why would you do that?
I ask you if there is a way to process it.
He kind of stares at you like, because it is inertly poisonous, it will always be poisonous to a certain extent.
And it will kill everything.
And the ability to process it to actually get the poison out is a methodology that he doesn't believe is currently possible.
Okay. So, what can he tell us from his historical standpoint?
From a historical standpoint, he goes about how the different houses would make different colors, and he mentions items not from this area and how they would be combined to make these paints. And you realize that some of these call for more foreign objects. Because he's now talking about the different, great houses of Gondor.
Let me ask Birgol if he or perhaps someone in the village would know how to do this. Know how to make any of these colors. I'm curious more if there's someone within the Hobbit village who would know this. That he knows of.
After you asked, Birgol used his stealth ability and disappeared.
Okay.
I'm joking. That was a joke.
Yeah, why didn't he actually do that? I like that a lot.
Just like disappears.
Dun dun. Dun 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 dun.
Okay, he's gonna call upon his traditional knowledge of the area. He rolled a 4.
Natural 1.
He don't know nothing, and then uses his stealth check to disappear. And when you look up, like he started talking, he's like, "Oh, what's that?" And everyone kind of looks away. And when you look back, there is a Birgol scarecrow sitting where he was,
Good job.
with a happy face.
Okay. Since they don't seem to know anything, I think our best course of action would be go back to the village first.
You think?
New Mirkwood. But most of all, I think that we should end the episode.
It's 9:40. That's up to y'all. Normally you go till 10, I think.
Now, normally we only go till 9:30.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Normally we go for 2 hours, so 7:30 to 9:30.
Yep.
Fair enough. I guess it's just me that evilly pushes it till 10. Alright, guys. Well, go ahead and stop the recording. It's been fun. See you later.